preservation. I'm also the author of Tracing Our Roots, Reclaiming Our Heritage. During today's live, I am going to be sharing some of the worksheets from my book, Tracing Our Roots, Reclaiming Our Heritage. I want to make sure that I'm actually live. I should be live on YouTube, which has been working. I should be live on Facebook, and I should be live on Instagram. But because live is new to me, I really don't know what I'm doing. Okay, I am live on Facebook. That's great. Am I live on Instagram though? Because if not, I have a hack. So I want to make sure I'm live on Instagram. So last time I had to go live on my phone separately on Instagram because it did not work out, and it looks like I'm having that same problem again today. So I'm live on probably Facebook, and I'm probably live on YouTube. Let me see if I'm live on YouTube. I believe I'm live on YouTube as well. Okay, and we are live on YouTube. Yay! Just Instagram is not working. I need to figure that out. I'm gonna go ahead and go live on Instagram from my phone. One day I will get it together. All right. So my name is Aisha Abdurrahman. Welcome to my Thursdays office hours. On Thursdays at 2 p.m. I go live and answer any questions that you might have on the Sojourner Truth African Heritage Museum, the collections that they have. So I'm the archivist for the Sojourner Truth African Heritage Museum. I also answer questions about African American genealogy, heritage travel, heritage preservation. I'm gonna dive straight into the video. If you cannot see my screen, so you should be able to see my screen on YouTube and Facebook. On Instagram, you can't see my screen. So if you want to see my screen and what I'm talking about, I apologize. You have to jump over onto either YouTube or Facebook. So again, I'm talking about Tracing Our Roots, Reclaiming Our Heritage. Specifically, I'm talking about chapter 2. So in chapter 2 of the book, I've got a little ghetto bookmark here. I call it Documenting Your Findings. And it's very, very important when you're doing your research that you want to document your findings, which is something that I have not been doing. So I've been doing genealogy research for about 20 years. However, I've only probably started documenting my findings probably in the last year. I just graduated from San Jose State University with my degree in library science and information technology. And it never dawned on me how important it is to preserve our heritage, to preserve our research, to preserve our findings. For whatever reason, I wasn't doing it. So I've been doing all this genealogy research, kind of sort of keeping track. I didn't really have any systems in place to keep track. And then when I did decide to go ahead and keep track of those things, I found that a lot of the tools and resources and things that were available didn't really have the space for the things that I was trying to document. They didn't have the space for us specifically. I'm gonna bring my phone closer to me because I can't see because I'm blind. Smacked out. Hey, smacked out. I like your username. So there really wasn't any systems or worksheets that had specifically what I was looking for. So I created my own in addition to writing this book. So Tracing Our Roots, Reclaiming Our Legacy is all about my journey and my process. I won't say my journey specifically, but really my process of learning to document, kind of documenting the process of documenting the process in a book. And then at the end of the book are worksheets. So that's what I'm going to focus on today is the worksheets. So chapter 2, which is what I've been really sharing for the most part, is called Documenting Your Findings. And I talk about creating your family tree, your family info checklist, your correspondent checklist, the family group worksheet, organizing your research, and writing biographical sketches. So in today's live, if you guys have any questions, just pop them in the chat. I believe I can see the chat here and I can see it on my phone. So for today's live, I'm gonna kind of do a brief overview of chapter 2 of the book. So the first couple of pages, it just talks about the importance of documenting your findings, keeping track of your progress, to avoid duplicating your research. And that was what I noticed. Even today, I noticed when I was creating my family tree, I had over 300 people that I, for whatever reason, had duplicated their record. So I had to go and merge them or delete them because I had some people 3 or 4 times not connected and not related to other people. I will do some other videos where I deep dive how I create my family trees digitally. So you want to avoid duplicating your research. You want to avoid duplicating documenting. This is a lot of work. It takes years. So you want to reduce the amount of work that you have to do. Let's see here. Until I'm actually sharing my screen. Okay, so I talk about documenting your findings. I talk about creating a family tree. So a lot of people, when they come to me, that is what they know genealogy to be, is I want to create a family tree. That's the goal that most people have. And when they want to create their family tree, they want to go back as far as possible. So the worksheets that I have created are created with that intention, is helping you to create your family tree, but to go back as far as possible and to be organized in documenting what you're finding. So the next section of chapter 2, yes, is creating your family tree. I dive into some tips and the different types of charts that you can use to create your family tree, like a pedigree chart, choosing what platform, choosing how to organize your tree, collecting basic information, which is what you'll use the worksheets for, like the research log. Then there's also the family info checklist, so that you have not only a family tree, so I guess it's up to you. Some people want to do their family tree where they're like, okay, here's me, here's my parents, their name, the day they were born, and the day that they died. For me, when I'm helping people with their family tree, that's not a complete family tree to me, because I want to know about those people. I want to know about their lives. When you're passing this information down generation to generation, you want to know, hey Jay, you want to know information about people. You don't want to just know their names, when they lived and when they died. So the information checklist helps you to make sure that you have information about these people in addition to who they're related to or how they're related to you. So the checklist is like basic information, how they're related, their education, their employment, any military service, any hobbies or anything like that. I was on a call with my cousin yesterday, and I was showing her, I was like, have you seen these pictures of your dad? There, I was able to find public record photos of her dad from his high school yearbook. Absolutely hilarious photos she had never seen before. So when you're doing your family tree, it takes time. Take your time, be patient, and find as much information as you can about your family members. It's not about just having this list of people. The other thing is a correspondence checklist, a family group worksheet, and then organizing your research. So chapter 2 really dives deep into how to keep track of all those things. So I'm going to share my screen. Once again, if you are on Instagram, you can't see my screen. You can head over to Facebook or YouTube to see my screen. I'm going to share a little bit about what's called the Biographical Sketch worksheet, which is basically all the information that you can find out about that person, their name, where they were born, if they passed away, where they're buried, who they're related to, the significance of the person. I'm also going to talk about the family group worksheet and the grandparents worksheet. So the family group worksheet is basically, here's a couple, here's a man and here's a woman for all purposes, just for general speaking. Here's a man and here's a wife, and these are their children. So a couple, if you're same-sex marriage, here's 2 people, here's their children. That's what your family group worksheet is basically, here's a couple, married or not, whatever gender, and these are the children that they have. So that is what your family group worksheet is, in a sense. And then the grandparents worksheet, I'm going to spend a little bit more time on because I think it can be a little bit confusing at first glance. So your grandparents worksheet is really just a list of each of your grandparents, your great grandparents, your great great grandparents, as far as you can go back. And I have it back, I believe, to your fourth great great grandparents. So when you're finished, you will have 32 grandparents listed, but it's not 32 like 1, 2, 3, 4 all the way to 32, but it's like 32 fourth great grandparents. So you'll have 2 grandparents in your first generation, 4 in the next, and then 16 in the next. So every generation you'll have an additional grandparents because those people had parents. So by the time you get to the final 4th generation, you will have 32 4th generation grandparents. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in and share my screen. So this is let me open so I'm showing you on my tablet, one, because I want people to know that, so when I created the workbook, you can get this book physically on Amazon. When I created the workbook, I also made an ebook on Amazon. I did not realize that when you're reading it on a Kindle, you cannot fill it out. These worksheets are not interactive. You can't fill them out. So when I created the physical book, I put the worksheets at the back so you can copy them, tear them out, make copies. But with the ebook, you can't fill it out. So on my website, aishaladon.com, you can actually download just the worksheets. They're PDF worksheets. They're interactive. You can type in them. You can write in them. You can write on the screen on the worksheets with like your Apple Pencil or your finger. So I want to kind of show on my tablet or my iPad what that looks like so that people know you can use these interactively. So this is what the biographical worksheet looks like. As I mentioned, it has your name. I talked in a previous video a little bit about what your ancestral number is, why I have it there, how I use it. Is basically a way to assign each person a number to keep track of them. I have a lot of systems in place, so this connects to my spreadsheet that's an Airtable. It's just another way to make things search optimized because it is digital. You can find people based on these worksheets that I've created, based on the systems that I've created through various ways. Their ancestral number is one way, a name is another way, but in many cases you'll have family members with the same name. Oftentimes fathers give sons their name and they have the same last name, so that's not always the best way to find a person. That's in fact the reason why I noticed I was duplicating a lot of my work. Is I have an uncle named Charles, his father's name Charles, his great grandfather's name is Charles. So I had 3 different Charleses, and so I had a lot of duplication going on. So you have your date of birth, city, state, information about the person, their family relationship, any details, any information that you find significant. And then the significance about the person. So the biographical sketch is pretty simple. It's really just a way for you to really hone on a specific person, take note of that person and learn about that person, and keep track of the information that you received about them. Then there is the family group worksheet, which I talked about. So that person has a number, but then there's also a family unit number. So for me, it might be me, my husband, and my 3 kids, and we have a family unit number. My son and his wife and their 6 kids will have another family unit number, and each person will have their own ancestral number. Again, it's just another way to keep track and to be able to search and find things digitally later. So you have a husband or a father, his occupation, his religion. On previous worksheets that I found like this, they didn't have this information. They assumed everyone's Christian. I added a mosque on there because I'm Muslim. It's pretty common that a lot of people who are of African ancestry are Christian. I don't know why it's assumed. Anyhow, I added Islam and I added mosque on there. You can get church records, you can get Shahada records, you can get information from a mosque, a synagogue, a church when you're doing research on your family history. And that's important to have so you can document that. So again, these records are digital. You can type in them what your information is. You can save it, you can duplicate it and use it for the next person. So this is the husband or father, this is the wife or the mother, and then their children. So I have the children's worksheet listed after the mother because the mother always has her own children, regardless of who the father is, but the father may have children by different women. So I have the children connected to their women, to the women, because that in my mind is what made sense. So you have the father, the mother, and then all of her children, not his children. Yeah. So that's how I have it. And then finally, I'm going to talk about, so I've talked about in previous videos, I've talked about these other worksheets if you guys have questions about them. And one of the reasons why I'm also doing these videos is when I update my book and I create the second edition, I want to put QR codes so that people will be able to scan the book and go to the worksheet that I'm talking about. If they're confused or they have any questions about the worksheet, there will be an accompanied video for them to scan to get information about that specific worksheet. So that's another reason why I want to do these live videos and save them. So now the Grandparents Worksheet, as I mentioned, you will have 32 fourth great grandparents. So when you're filling this out, you include yourself. You are number 1 on this line. How many of you is there? There's 1. Then you will have 2 parents. So the next line is your 2 parents, so your first and your second parent. Then the third generation. So this first column is the generations. And then the number is how many people you should have in that generation. So for your third generation, you will have 4 people in the third generation by the time you're done. This person on this 4th line will be your fourth grandparent. So you'll have 2 parents, 4 grandparents, because each of your parents has 2 grandparents, if that makes sense. And so on and so on. So the next generation is the 4th generation. By the time you're done, you will have 8 second generation grandparents or great grandparents. So that's what these numbers here are for on the end, is so that you know how many you should end up with. So you should have 1 of yourself, 2 of your parents, 4 grandparents, 8 great grandparents, and all the way down to let's see, so the 6th generation. So by the time you get to the 6th generation, like it's taken up 3 pages, you will have 32 fourth great grandparents. And that's my goal. So there's books that have been written, and I believe it's possible. A lot of people think, oh, I'm African American, it's not possible. I believe I've gotten to my 7th generation in my family history, is the furthest that I've got. All of them don't have all of these grandparents in place, but I'm working on it. And that is kind of like the ultimate goal. I've gotten, I believe, to like the mid 1700s with my family history. So that is pretty much for this worksheet. I wanted to make sure that I kind of explain it and visual, because I'm a visual person, I'm a visual learner, so I wanted to see it. But that is pretty much what this worksheet is for, is to help you, if that is your goal with your family tree, is you want to find as many grandparents or great grandparents and great grandparents all the way to your 4th great grandparent. If you find all of them, you will end up with 32 fourth great grandparents. So it's a challenge. It's very fun. A lot of people have been asking me different questions about the worksheets, and having questions about what they're working on. So I want to also kind of share my screen with you guys. So this is, and again, if you're on Instagram, I apologize, you can't see my screen. You can see my screen on YouTube as well as Facebook. I am live over there as well. So this is my business that I have. Is called Legacy Planning and Preservation. I offer, my services include helping people to digitize their family records and their family photos. And also, I don't have it on here, but genealogy research. So if you're struggling and you've hit a brick wall and you do need some help with your research, you can always book a free consultation with me. I have also started sending out a newsletter, so you can also sign up for my newsletter. My newsletter, I'm still working on what's actually going to go in the newsletter. I'm thinking it's going to have like websites. It's going to have resources, websites you can check out, types of research resources you can check out. Like there's databases of slave ships and where they came from and the dates. There's also going to probably be books that you can read. So any type of research or information that's current or going on with me will be in my newsletter. So for example, I have my upcoming trip to New Orleans. I'll probably share a lot about that in my newsletter. So anything pertaining to those types of kind of like in the moment, live, relevant things will be in my newsletter. So if you're looking for information like that, sign up for my newsletter at legacypmp.ltd. So I also offer life insurance and annuities. I've been on my family and friends. I'm so done with all these GoFundMe accounts. So when I learned a little bit about life insurance, I thought that it would be a really great service to be able to offer to my family and friends when it comes to legacy planning, helping people with retirement planning, making sure that we have life insurance in place. No more car washes, no more GoFundMes, guys. So this is another service that I decided to add to my legacy planning service. So if you need life insurance, whether it's just final expense insurance, or even if you just want more information about it and you aren't even sure if you need life insurance, hit me up, let me know, and I offer free workshops and free one-on-one consultation about life insurance and retirement planning. My parents both retired. My mom did not have a plan. My dad had a really great plan. So I'm learning what to do, what not to do, and being able to help people with their retirement, with their 401ks, with do you want a Roth IRA? Do you want an IRA? Do you want an annuity? So all those types of questions, I've actually been learning a lot from my dad. I'm able to help you with that and with his consult as well. So a lot of people respect my dad's opinion. I'm learning firsthand from him about a lot of those things. So if you're interested, I'll say we offer free consultation for those services as well. So the other thing that I want to share with you guys is in the back of the book. So I've kind of been keeping this a little secret because I'm still working on it, is a community that I'm calling Legacy Lab. I've done Legacy Lab before, was a kind of like a business cohort. I have changed this, and it is all about people who are looking to reconnect with their heritage. So if you are interested in heritage travel, if you're interested in genealogy, if you're interested in heritage preservation, I have created an online community called Legacy Lab. If you purchased my workbook, there is a QR code in here for you to scan and get access to Legacy Lab for free. As of right now, it's free. So if you jump in there, it's free. It's not going to stay free. It's free now because I'm still working on it. I'm still getting my act together. But if you are looking to connect with like-minded people, you're looking for advice, you're looking for exclusive content that I'm not sharing anywhere else, Legacy Lab is going to be the place to go. You can access it on your phone. And this is a little bit of what it looks like. So as you see, I'm still testing it out. I'm still in the trial period. So it is hosted by Mighty Networks. I'm familiar with Mighty Networks. I've been using it for years. This is what you will see is we will have a members lounge where everyone can get together, talk to each other, chat, connect. There will also be specific topics of forums so you can learn about your family history, your ancestry, your genealogy. You can ask questions and connect with other people that are doing heritage travel. For example, a lot of people are asking me when I'm going back to Ghana. I will have trips that I'm going to Ghana. Most likely I will be posting them ahead of time. Everything will probably come to the lab before it goes out to everyone else. So if you want to know what's going on first with my heritage travel trips, I'm going to New Orleans in, I'm going to DC in August. I'm going to New Orleans in October. I'm planning another trip to Ghana this year. I'm planning another trip to Sierra Leone probably in April. I'm hoping to go also to Nigeria this year. So 2025, those are the travel trips that I have planned. They're going to be shared here in the lab. Then I also have what's cooking. So if you're interested in learning about different types of culinary history, where did certain recipes come from? Like you'll notice jambalaya is very similar to jollof. We'll talk about, it's a place for all the foodies to gather. Then of course there's arts and culture, which is my thing. different museums, different places, different traditions. We can come together, talk about that, and learn about it. And then there's, of course, preserving your family legacy, documenting, sharing, digitizing, that type of thing is in there. Hey, Michelle. And then finally in here, I have Goodreads, which is for all my bookworms. It's a space where we can share what we're reading. So that is pretty much it, guys. If you have any other questions for me in terms of the worksheets, the workbook, anything that I went over today, Legacy Lab, getting in there, once again, like I said, it's free for now. So if you're gonna jump in, now's the time to jump in there. The URL is legacylab.mn.co. Here, I'll share it again. So it is legacylab.mn.co. It is free for now. If you want to jump on my mailing list, Legacy PMP, Legacy Planning and Preservation is what that stands for, .ltd. And that's pretty much it, guys. Are you launching a membership? Yes, I am launching a membership. Right now it's free. And it's basically for all of us heritage nerds. If you are interested in your family history, if you're interested in reconnecting, if you're interested in all the things, cooking, books, all the arts and culture stuff, it's going to be a community place for everyone to gather together. And like I said, right now it's free because it's bare bones. I'm working on it. I'm adding content, trying to decide if I'm going to have workshops and courses in there. So yeah. So that's pretty much it, guys. I will see you next Thursday. I believe I'll be here. I'll see you next Thursday, same time, same place. Life is good. Have a blessed day.